Hey, Shadow Company, how's it going? Hey, Shadow Company, how's it going? All right, get the volume off on this. Hold on. All right, hold on just a second. Okay, there we go. Hey, Clint. Saw this knife called the EF-163 fixed blade on Amazon. Nice. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, hope everybody's having an awesome day. Today's Monday already. And let's see here. What do we got going this week? We have some different stuff coming in. It'll be fun. Trying to multitask here. We've got, let's see here. Does anybody have a RAT 1.5 in Magna Cut? That's one thing I'm curious about. Hey, Waylon. Yeah, I've heard of F and Grow. I haven't checked any of their stuff out yet, though. Hey, Steve. I've heard people that have checked their stuff out, though, and I probably should. But yeah, let's see here. Tonight, Casey's on. Ben from Jack Wolf will be on. Ray will be on. And let's see here. Rob will have his kazoo. So we've got some new stuff on the way. But while I wait for that, hey Ron, Dwayne, good to see everybody. Thought I'd show some of my favorites. My favorite of last year was the Scuffle. I don't have that Cold Steel. I've been looking at more Cold Steel recently, though. Yeah, there's been lots of interesting stuff. New Rosecraft comes out this week in a jigged bone, which is pretty cool. It'll be the knife they released a few weeks ago that they did in the denim. It'll be released in a red jigged bone, like an apple. And 14C again, which is very cool. Let's see. All right, whatevs. Trying to think of what to get next. Trying to think of hey Kathleen. Trying to think of what I should get next. Hey Brown Sugar, I got something to show you. I haven't tested it out yet, but this did come in. Well, I ordered it. I'm not a fan of the way the lock is, though. So this is the CJRB, is it the Malaya or the Malaya? But it hasn't been in the sun. This glows in the dark. And I know you were asking about that. This does glow in the dark. It looks like JG10, but it's not. Wish I had something to put it up against the... But there you go. If you can see, it glows pretty well. Tegan, 5 months. Where's the sprinkles at? What am I doing here? There it is. Thank you. I don't have a tri-stash. I got to check out the original, but I don't have any of the budget ones yet. Something I'm gonna... Trying to multitask here. It's a bit much. Let's see. See, I'm trying to figure out like if I can do the laptop on the side so that eventually I can start showing more stuff. Let's see here. Don't know what I just did. Let's see here. I'm not trying to do that. What's this button do? Let's try this. Let's see if this works. Hey, Omega, how's it going? Awesome, it worked. Hey, Kathleen got a membership. So did Ron, Marisol, and Ramses. Cool, I figured that part out. YouTube lets me do like so many a month, and we're getting close to the end of the month. Have a good one, Steve. Thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate it. No problem. Yeah, no problem. Happy to do that. Knives Are Life. How's it going, man? Hope you're doing good today. No problem. Just thanks for tuning in. You got 212 OC? Congrats, man. You're flying. Hey, Laser Ghost, what's going on? You're out plowing. You got 3 feet there. Man. Are you just doing your yard, or are you out like plowing for money? Because, man, there is money to be had in that. Thank you, OC Omega. I appreciate that. One of the knives I just cannot stop playing with. This thing is just crazy. This Vero. It just has a sound like no other, and the action is ridiculous. Really excited about that. So if people have been thinking about checking out a Vero, I highly recommend it. Let's see here. No power since 5 a.m. Oh, you got generators, though? Good for you, man. Got a contract with a lot place there. Nice. Well, that's good. So yeah, let's see here. A couple things to go over. First of all, it is sunny out. There's snow on the ground, but it's sunny out, so I'm happy about that. We have a CJRB coming in this week. Ed Durbin. Hey, Mohammed, good to see you. Lots of back and forth on some stuff in the community. There's always putting in that work. Yeah. Yeah, he is. So there's always going to be this crowd that's yeah. Uh, there's always a part in the community where it's all about like use your stuff, beat on your stuff. And there's two different schools of thought. Well, one, I'm not going to tell you guys ever what to do with your stuff. It's yours. Um, Now, like big fixed blades and things and stuff like Scab uses, I do want to see those videos where people do use them and torture test them and see how strong knives are. But then there's the other aspect of knives that I'm not going to beat to death. I'm not going to take my Jack Wolf, that's not a cheap knife, and see what it takes to destroy it. Most of my knives I still pay for. um, Now, if a company sent me something and said put it through anything, okay, I'll do that. Just like if a company says, "Hey, give this away," I'll do that. But I've seen a few content creators where they're saying they want to start this more use your stuff. No way, never use knives for intense destruction. I agree. Use them for their intended purposes, I say. I carry it. I use it when I need it. It does its job. I'm a light user kind of person for the most part. Unless I get a big fixed blade in from a company and they want me to test it out, and I will definitely go test it out. You abuse your stuff. Use it for what it's intended for. Like, if you're on a construction site, you're not going to take probably something this small that's got like a 1.5-inch blade. You're not going to take something really, really expensive probably either. You're going to use it for the purpose. Also, knives that are made to be used, and then there's some that aren't. Exactly, Tegan. That's what those SEs are made for. So recently there's a content creator, a very big one, and I like him. I watch his channel. I'm not going to drop names, but he's feeling that YouTube isn't pushing his videos because he really beats on his stuff. But he is a person whose videos are about extreme use. What will it take for this knife to fail? Exactly. I'm not going to try to cut a nail with a knife. I'm not going to run over my knife, and I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to go like this. A little of that, definitely. If it failed that, there would be a problem. But I'm not going to just sit here and bang it until it fails. But I want to talk to this person because I feel like, oh man, that sucks, Blades, for you. But there's YouTube does whatever YouTube does, like, because you make videos where you abuse stuff doesn't mean that your videos are getting suppressed. And if they are, it's just like all of us other knife guys. You know what I mean? There's only so many in the community, but use them for what your intended purpose is. Like my channel, I never say I do a full-on review. I don't sit there and use the knife for a month before I do the review. Sometimes I do, but I don't take it to every possible extreme. Most of mine are overviews, as I like to call them, where I'm like, hey, here's this, here's the dimensions, the steel, the weight, what it's made out of. Is the fit and finish good? Does it work? How's the pocket clip in the pocket? Here's the warranty from the company. Ooh, that would be cool. What if I had a brick of sprinkles? 5 months? Dang. Where did I just set the... There it is. You get the salute, Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this person was basically saying that those of us that have, I would say These are expensive to me, you know, so I take care of them, but I do use them. Whalen, 6 months. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. But I'm not a hard use person. I'm not out on the construction site. I'm not out doing that. I have been known to take an OTF or a fixed blade and beat up on some panels that I'm going to paint just to give them some rigidity. Exactly. You know, like I appreciate the channels that like I like Scab, how he is like, I'm going to show this rosecraft until it goes dull and it takes forever. That gives me a sense of confidence. You know, there's people like Joe X who's like, I got this fixed blade and my goal is to destroy it. That's why they sent it. But my folders, they're kind of not cheap. I like to carry them. I do use them in my daily basis. But my daily basis is very light work. There's all, yeah, you know, mechanics use them. Roofers use, as a roofer, you know, yeah, you cut boxes, zip ties, all that kind of stuff. I do the paper test, whether it's on video or on my own. If it fails on my own on a piece of paper, I let you guys know. But like for me, it's more like I'm a light user, so I'm going to give you the results as a light user. And if I ever thought there was something that would be a bit dangerous, I would let you know. But this person called us all hand models. But there's a difference. I'm going to carry these in my pocket and use them when needed on the typical light tasks of my day. If I know I'm going out for a hike, I might throw something cheaper or heftier in my pocket. But I'm certainly not going to say that there isn't a place for those kinds of people to carry. Hey, how's it going, Apex Carry? Yeah, exactly, Pretty Fly. Like, there's some knives I take a little bit more care of because I might use them in later videos or they're a bit more expensive for what I can afford. But use them how you need them or want to use them, you know? There is probably somebody out there who just bought a CJRB and they're going to baby it because maybe it's their only knife they got right now. There's people that are going to buy a Jack Wolf and beat the crap out of it for $350 because that's what they're comfortable with. What's up, Shay? But I don't want, you know, poking at the other part of the community because your channel isn't growing like you want. I mean, everybody could do that. We shouldn't do that, though. We should, like, help each other out, which we usually do. And people need to vent, and I've been that person many a times. I just don't always do it online. Hey, Ron Crow. Wow, your DLC is interesting. I did like people question. So Vu has his knife out with Migron, and people challenge Migron's HRC, but his knife's out in DLC, and people ask him, you know, how serious is this DLC? And he took a nail and was scratching the DLC, and you could see it didn't really do anything. And I'm the same way, Shadow Company. But like, if those guys are comfortable and want to beat on crazy hard knives, cool, good for them. I will probably watch it sometimes. Hey, JD, good to see you. If you guys aren't following JD or Bluminati or Shay, give them a follow. But yeah, blaming the light use community for your videos not doing great, I'm not really falling for that. I mean, YouTube gets everybody in one way or another. We just got to keep pushing forward. And if you're having a slow time, reach out to a friend and come out for a new idea. But do what you want with your stuff. It's your money. If you want to beat on it, cool. If you don't, cool. If you want to see a video where something gets beat on, watch that. If you just want to see a light user review, watch that. Do I like the Spyderco with the FRN handles? They're not much different to me than G10. Honestly, I don't really care. I've been finding it hard to find scales for this Sage 5, honestly, that I really want. But in the meantime, I have no problem with these lightweights. They're fine. And the knife is great itself. But that was my little rant about people on their like hard use your stuff. It's your stuff. Do what you want with it. And let's see here. And when I buy knives, guess what? I go to a couple different pages of reviewers. There's people I like, but I won't go to for a review. And there's people that I know will review it good that I might not watch as much. But, I still pick out people that I want to know reviews from if I'm buying like a more pricey knife. And that being said, what people like, For instance, Daily Gear Guide's in here. He knows his Spydercos as well as, now I'm going to draw a blank. He's on tonight with the whistle or the kazoo, Rob. They both know their Spydercos really well. So I'm going to tune into them when I'm looking for a Spyderco. And there's people that like smaller knives and bigger knives. And depending on what I'm looking for, I'm going to watch their reviews. Do you focus on the good reviews? It has, because some can look appealing, but can arrive garbage. So I'll tell you one thing, Shadow Company. A lot of companies, I won't name any, but sometimes companies will send products out for review just for Instagram or just for Amazon. So take it with a grain of salt. If I'm looking at a knife on Amazon, I am actually still going to go to YouTube and pick out and I'll type in the knife I'm looking for and then click on videos, and people will pop up and I'll kind of sift through and I'll be like, oh, JD reviewed it. Oh, Casey reviewed it. Okay, let me take a look. Now let me take a look at Faithful, because sometimes he differs on his thoughts on what people think of it. So I kind of take those into account more. Oh, you're going to try to get one of those new X Factors. Awesome, Ron. I prefer to go to the reviews of the people I trust, because sometimes those Amazon reviews might be people that, it might be me leaving one. I've left a few. It might be people that don't normally handle knives, or people that's their first knife they've picked up, and things like that. So I still tune to the channels and just kind of Google or, just ask in chat sometimes. I'm like, hey, I've been thinking about picking this up. What do you think? It's always good to have a second opinion, especially, I do that with everything whenever I buy stuff usually. Let me see here. Trying to do something here. I don't remember what I did or how I did it. Trying to manage this computer at the same time. Thank you, Ron. Yeah, Blade HQ is celebrating PM2 Day. I don't have a PM2, surprisingly. Yeah, you never know what people will give, but I go to people that I know has a similar taste in knives as me. So if they've reviewed a knife and they don't like it, it might be that I won't like it, or maybe it'll be that I will like it if they like it. And that's not always the case, but it gives me a good idea. I've even just, size-wise looked up to see people with it, If I wanted a second opinion, I'd ask myself, what would DJ do? Don't do that. I'll say, spend the money you don't have. Let's see here. There we go. That's all right. We can't have all the knives, even though we'd like to. see here. JD, Grateful Dong, Joe, Anything, Emerson Waved, Arc, nice. Yeah, 3CR is not necessarily, no problem. 3CR is not necessarily something I would be buying, but I did have something come up recently where people were asking me what like the lowest steel I would go is, and I don't really know. I know that I still like this and carry the full size Praxis. It's a 3 3/4 blade knife, and this is a 9CR, and I still carry it. You know, but there's all sorts of different kinds. I like I like D2 a lot. I've had one DC53. It was pretty decent. You know, I like most steels. We all have our preferences. I would prefer seeing 14C over Nitro V. Saturday, I was watching G-Ball, and I was talking to him about TRM, and they have the Atom, and it used to be offered in 20 CV, and now it's offered in Magna Cut. And if I had a choice, maybe I'd pick 20 CV. And so he asked why, because he thinks Magna Cut is superior. And I said edge retention is just slightly better, because I don't sharpen my own knives usually. There you go. Yeah, I do too. You know, but it was good to get his opinion on why he thought Magna Cut was better and why I thought 20 CV was, because it's just got a bit more edge retention and I don't have to worry about sending it off to sharpen maybe. This here is, I have no idea. We have the RPM 9 Swags. This is the new glow-in-the-dark one. I really don't like how the access to the liner is, though, but yeah, it hasn't been in a lot of light recently, but it's the glow-in-the-dark one. I'll do a video on it. I'm going to pick up the glow-in-the-dark Gobi at some point. I actually don't... well, just the little field one, nothing special. I'm lucky that Iowa AK has the full-on sharpener, and he just lives 15 minutes away. And then I have a friend who actually has a sharpening business about an hour away, and I trust him more than myself to put a nice clean edge on it. So that's a big thing for me, is minimal maintenance as far as sharpening. So that's what I kind of look for in steels, but I'm not really very picky on it, because this is the Sage 5. So the Sage 6 is the push button, and this is still, you know, the top, which I like. I would like to check out a 6 at some point, but it's nice. It's kind of that medium size knife, but for me, Spydercos that have this front choil, I love. It's just the way I prefer it. Very sharp, and I seem to have a thing about collecting Spy 27. I think that's a good steel. I do that, Kathleen, but that is about it. Oh, I guess I didn't know that, Ron. This one's very small. It's almost a 2-finger knife for me. I can get 3 on there, but not comfortably. I really have to hold it more this way. I honestly, I brought it in because people had asked me about the glow-in-the-dark ones, and so I picked this one up. I love that front flipper, but this isn't something I probably will carry much myself. I will probably use it for a giveaway. It's just it's just not quite fitting in my hand perfectly. If the tip of my knife broke, what's the first thing I would do? Depends how much, if you can get it reprofiled or the cost or the kind of blade. Have a good one, Bluminati. If it's a small thing, like just break the tip, probably just get it reprofiled, no problem. Or I would maybe consider getting a different blade to put on it. That can get a little pricey, but I've seen some cool stuff. But I'm not going to mess with that myself. I'd send it off. You know, I guess it depends. If it's just a chip on the edge, you know, just sharpen a new tip on it. If it's like, you know, if you're coming back like this far, I would probably be about done with it, or if somebody wanted to try to fix it, I would gift it to them. Oh, the S35 tenacious and persistence. And you have the Manix 2 lightweight? Well, that's nice. My friend just got a persistence and he really likes it. I haven't had a Manix 2 yet that is on my list. You know, if you're looking for another good one that you can get in a different range of prices, I think the Para 3 is more comfortable than the 2. People will argue with me on that, I know. Yeah, Kydex, depending on how it's set up to carry. Yeah, Para 3s are very good in the hand. It's very similar to the Sage 5. But yes, Spyderco makes some very nice knives. I like the Kershaw's nicer knives. I like Kershaw pretty much across the board. I even like their really, really budget stuff. It doesn't bother me too much. Like, once again, like, my stuff is daily carry, minimal use, and I have enough knives in my collection that I rotate. Now, I will say this, last year I carried 2 knives more than anything. I get stuck in ruts and my OCD takes over. And last year I carried 90% of the time. It was either, well, it wasn't. I carried them together. I carried this slip joint. This was the most carried slip joint I had, and I need to get it touched up. Just this cheap hollow ground sod buster. And then I carried my MSI. I like to carry a small and a big knife. Since I left these Grivery the FRN scales on, it cuts the weight down quite a bit. But it's another one I need to probably just touch the blade up a bit. I know a lot of people say they don't think they're the smoothest knives, but honestly, after you break these in, they're real easy to use. I'm trying to remember who was Aries. Aries is put skiffs in his, or he knew somebody that did, and it was even smoother. But 4 inches of M390, good to go in my world. Yeah, I think almost all of us are. It's just how much it scares us. Spyderco TRM get props because they heat treat at the top of the market. Definitely. I recently had somebody I was talking to in the community and the knife world that said, how come they don't see TRM as often in people's hands? And well, A, they're a smaller company, but B, I think there's this line of they are such amazing knives, but they have a very utilitarian look. So some people, you know, they don't see the carbon fiber or the options, but now they are offering different easy scale swaps and stuff on lots of things. So maybe that'll be different. But if you ever are looking for a top of the line American made knife, TRM makes Amazing knives. And I'll say, sharpest knives I get that I've ever gotten, slip joint wise, nobody tops Rosecraft. Their blades come crazy sharp. I got this dirty. I need to clean it. But their blades come crazy sharp. And then I would say, on the other hand, the sharpest knives I've ever gotten was a TRM Bulldog and Kershaw Iridium. Sharpest knives ever. Got a horrible cut from the Iridium by accidentally leaving it on the ground and then laying it, accidentally leaning on it. Hey, I'd be down for that. That'd be cool. Yeah, definitely, Apex. On the Edge, good to see you. Hope you're doing good today. And for those of you that didn't know, Lefty got his channel back. And JD has a second channel now if you're interested in some Pew knowledge, which I certainly didn't know nearly as much until I started watching. I was very basic. The TPK branded ones are high quality. Oh, definitely, Kathleen. If I could afford them all, I would buy every single one. And you know, this one's very sharp and using 154 cm on a slip joint. And they're just, I mean, look how thick these are. They're still small, relatively. But I trust this to be a tough use slip joint for sure. How do I display my knives right now? Good question. I picked up a Work Pro small box, and they came with liners. I took them out. I put bandanas in them. Here, I'll show you. So here's what I got going on right now. I got a couple of these Work Pro boxes, and you know, they have drawers. I've been trying to keep a not as large collection and more what I really look for. These are on Amazon, and I can always send you a link. They're about $35, and I can fit maybe 25 knives in there, roughly. And that's where I store them. Some of the boxes I don't have. Some of the boxes I'll store elsewhere because I notice if I put them in the box, I never end up pulling the knife out. And for $35, it's cool because you can open it, close it. I don't know. I just kind of like them. And for the price, you would spend easily $60 on a 24 knife case. And while this isn't going to be like waterproof or anything, it doesn't need to be for me. Exactly. And that's the other thing is I didn't do the case. And plus, when I'm doing these lives, I want access to more knives because inevitably the knives I pull out, somebody wants to ask about something else and I don't have it in reach. So it's really handy having this just next to me. So if somebody was like, hey, you know, show me your bomber, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And I can just put it away and it's done. So I've really been liking these, and I can send you a link on these too. There's a couple different brands that do them, but I've done some videos for different Work Pro products, and I've never had bad luck, so I stick with them. I enjoy Work Pro stuff a lot, so that's what I'm doing right now anyways. But it also keeps it so if I'm like, getting ready to leave, I can sift through and grab something different. My goal this year is to carry a lot more different knives. Slide out shelves. Oh, nice. And top shelves too. Yeah. I think that was part of my problem was I just kept putting everything away and I had to get stuff out every day for a live. But I would never bother to go look for something for carry. But now I have all my choices right here. So that's nice. Any knives I bring out in snowy weather? Well, I would say preferably G10 or something like this, and then a steel that I know is fairly stainless. I mean, we have snow right now. We have snow half the year, so I don't think too much about it. But for the cold, I usually pick something if I'm going to be outside that isn't going to be like steel and freeze to me for a handle. And then if I'm worried about it getting wet, I'll pick a steel that is easy just to wipe off and it won't be bothered by that, which most of my steels aren't a problem. Like I'm not going to carry an M4 anything out or anything like that. But most of the stuff, if you can just wipe it off, it's pretty good. Those are cool, Shay. I have not gotten a hold of one of those yet, so I'm doing the Work Pro toolbox. And let's see here. I don't know if they'll be here before the week's over. The giant Jack Wolf Timberjacks coming back my way. A friend is sending in the new Kershaw Bare Knuckles for us to check out, which is really awesome. A Therapeutic Edge is sending that in. So if you're not following a Therapeutic Edge, he reviews some very interesting knives. It's pretty cool. So that's mainly what I got going on right now. I know I wasn't on much last week. I just I had some stuff to get done, and I needed a little bit of a mental break. So that's what I did. But everyone has seen the shelves. I'm gonna have to check them out now, Ed. I'm gonna go look them up. Go look up your shelves. But I think that's about everything I've got today covered. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about or carrying something really interesting you want to talk about? One thing I've been going back and forth on is this Tactus knife. It's $60. The blade shape is really cool. It's in 14C with like that G10 carbon fiber. And aluminum. It is it's not a top liner. It's a good knife, but it has like a little bit of a ratchety sound and it's not chamfered off in certain spots. So I like the knife, but there's also what would I compare it to for $60? There's a lot of knives out there in that price range right now. So I keep going back and forth, but I'm really liking this like Tonto spear blade shape. I want something good for normal life. You're on a job site most of the time. You should get a full serrated knife or a multi-tool. So I would say get a lot of knives are half and half. If you use serrated a lot, I would recommend getting a half and half. I used to carry a half serrated knife and I realized that the serrations don't cut much better that often. And when they do, sharpening it is a huge pain. Multi-tools are great. They usually tend to be smaller. I I do know Kershaw and and Microtech, like this one, they sell it as a half serrated or full serrated or non-serration. Kershaw will do the same. I recommend checking those out. You can usually find good deals on Kershaw on Amazon. So I would look into those first. The Leatherman Wave, that would be a good one. Hey, Antonio, how's it going? Oh, definitely, Ed. Yeah. But so I guess that's what I have right now. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. I hope that helped with your serrated question. And if it is something you use on the regular, sharpening the serrations can really be a pain in the end. But they do have a purpose. So, but tonight, KC will be on with Ben from Jack Wolf. Ray is on Everyday City Carry. We've got well, everybody's on tonight. Hey, assigns, yeah, send good vibes. Sending good vibes your way. Oh, one thing before I forget. This is kind of cool and big all at the same time, and also a bummer. Okay. There is a guy in our community who is not doing well at all. And a couple of us are going to help raise money. So you'll be hearing this from DBD as well. He'll be doing part of it. I'll be doing the other part. He's going to be running like an auction type scenario to help raise some money, sell some knives off for a good cause for this person. We're going to say the name later on, not right away, because we don't necessarily want this person to know yet we're doing it for him. But I reached out to Brian Winters. He is going to be sending one of his new X Factors my way. I'm going to do it as a waffle, and Jimmy Crow will be helping. So I'll let you guys know when we can start. But what it'll be is it's $20 a spot, and we're going to do 100 spots or whatever spots are filled by March 19th, which is a Thursday. So we will do the drawing on a Friday for who wins that waffle. But it's $20 a slot. The money will be paid to Jimmy Crow, who will then send the money to this guy who really needs it. And you have the chance of winning a winter blade. So that's really cool. There will be no shipping will be completely taken care of. Everything will be taken care of by those of us involved. So every dollar raised will go to this person. There will be nothing that is not given to that person. This small group of us, we're taking on the shipping, all the arrangements, everything. So I'll be giving you guys more information on that, and DBD will as well. So there's a chance to help somebody out and possibly win some cool knives. And we'll go from there. And I wish we could do this for more people in the community. There's just it's so hard because there's YouTube rules. You can't make money without YouTube getting their portion. So we're trying to find workarounds, trying to avoid having to pay big taxes on things like that. And I'm curious what the Blade HQ thing is, Ron. And But if you have any questions, you can message Jimmy Crow, DBD, me on Instagram, and we'll fill you in. We have more information coming in the next day or two about this fundraiser. How's it going, TC Blades? If you guys aren't following TC, definitely somebody to give a follow. Tomorrow, Shay and Tegan are live, so lots of fun stuff this week. Right. But I think that covers it for me today. Oh, I am looking at picking up some concepts. There's some really cool stuff coming out. So the Chinese New Year's just ending. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of new stuff come out from companies. They usually take a week or two and celebrate it. It's major over there. So we shall see. Wow, congrats, Ron. That's awesome. They will get back to you. I won this knife on their live stream, and it took them a few hours or so, but they got back to me. But you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you in the other lives. And yeah, just have an amazing day. Talk to you guys later.